good morning to all of you. I hope you're having a good Saturday morning. Hi, everyone. Good morning. Hope you're having a good Saturday morning. Well, this is our first Facebook Live video, so I had a bit of issue setting up the camera and everything, but yes, we are live now, so we can get started. Well, we've been in a lockdown for almost few weeks now, and it has affected all of us, and of course our pets as well. So today our first topic is going to be the emotional impact of the lockdown on our pets. And we accept it or not, we've all been affected by it. So I hope you all are staying at home and staying safe, chilling with your pets. This lockdown is basically messed up all our routine, all our work timings. There's no fixed timing for our day. There's some people are doing overtime. Some people have are struggling to keep up with their job. Some people may have other tensions in the house. So basically, all of us are facing a lot of emotional up and down throughout the day or throughout the week. Not just us, everybody in the house, and that's kind of sort of affecting our dogs also. So if you feel, we wanted to know first that if you feel if your dog is getting affected emotionally due to this lockdown, due to you being at home 24 hours, everybody being at home. If you think your dog is getting affected and in a negative way, we're there to help you. We're going to be discussing all the topics today, and we'll tell you what you can do about it to sort of take care of your dog and make it a little more easier for him this time. And if it's not affecting your dog, that's great. If your dog is just enjoying your company, you being at home all the time and chilling with you, that's great also. We would love to hear your stories of how you're spending time with your dog. Yes, hi everyone. Hello. Um, I hope you all can hear me well. When I say emotional impact of lockdown, we've seen a variety of changes in the pet's behavior recently. I've been getting a lot of calls where people are struggling to understand why their dogs are behaving in a certain way, which they never used to before the lockdown or before a few weeks. When I say negative impact of the lockdown, a lot of dogs are showing constant stress signs. Um, they are there are some sorry about that. They're constantly following the owner. They're going everywhere. They just don't want to leave the owner alone for some time. They're licking their paws. They're very restless throughout the day. Sometimes the dog stops eating or throwing too much tantrums while eating. They're licking their paws, scratching excessively, or a lot of dogs are, in fact, have started chewing a lot. The dogs which were not very hard chewers, or they've started disrupting the house a lot. They're picking up things from everywhere and chewing, which they're not allowed to. In general, the dogs are kind of getting edgy. So these are all signs of stress. The dogs are, if you've not noticed till now, look for these signs in your dogs. If you feel that, yes, my dog is doing all of it, a few of these things, of course, our whole behavior is affecting the dogs. What happens is, for as humans, for us to understand this lockdown and get through with it, it's getting difficult by day. We are losing our patience. We are some days are good, some days are bad. Sometimes we have work tensions, so we have an emotional high and low, and that reflects on our dogs. Dogs pick up these emotions from the family members, so they also, when we are stressed, they are also stressed. So I would suggest the best thing to do during this lockdown is how we maintain our emotional health, that eventually will help the dogs to maintain their emotional health. All right. So again, as I said, the situation can be different for everyone, but we are all in the same storm. So what we need to do is we need to focus on the positive things. If at the end of the session we will have question answers where you can tell me if you are seeing any different signs than which I mentioned already in the live session right now. If your dog is showing any different behavior, you can definitely tell me. I will answer your questions. So right now, going ahead with whatever signs dogs show, we need to have a routine for them. And now we're going to be talking about things which we can do to make the lockdown more relaxing for your dogs, and to keep their positive mindset on. Okay, so the four more important things are their meal times, their walk times, their play time. Also, very important is their alone time, and the fifth part is the grooming. So when we say the meal time, I have seen a lot of people now, since the lockdown. We're all at home. We're snacking at all the time, and we kind of are feeding the dogs whatever we eat and whatever time we are eating. So I would suggest, please do not do that. That's not a very healthy habit for you or your dog. So what we need to focus on is their daily meals. If you are feeding your dog 2 or 3 meals in a day, and due to the lockdown, as our activities are restricted, as the walks are restricted, what the main source we have in our hand is their daily meal, to make their day more interesting. Instead of feeding them in a bowl just 1 or 2 times in a day, you can actually use that meal and divide it into smaller portions, and you can make games out of it, make search games out of it, or make you can use toys like these Kong toys, and these toys, or I have here is a boredom blaster ball. Like, you can put dog treats in it, and dog food in it, your dry dog food kibble in it, and then you can give it to your dog. So instead of giving him the kibble in his bowl, which he can finish it in 2 minutes, why not put it in these toys? You can freeze these Kong toys as well, and it at least takes the dog about 10-15 minutes to lick the toy, to take the stuff out of it, and to eat it. This chewing of the toy, playing with the toy, gives them a lot of mental stimulation, and that's what the dogs need at this hour. uh, Again, depending on whatever breed you have, whatever how depending on how old your dog is, what breed he is, his temperament, you can select the toys of his choice. In case you do not have these store bought toys, you can make them at home with an alternative things, such as coconut shells, or you can make ice cubes out of chicken stock. This is just an example. We will be doing a separate video on things which you can play with your dog in the house, using stuff which is easily available in anyone's house. So even if you don't have any of these store bought toys, you can definitely make lots of things for your dog and keep their day interesting using these different objects. So we will be talking about that in the next video. Again, giving them extra treats. I've seen a lot of these posts recently on social media that, oh, my dog is chilling with me and both are snacking in the middle of the night, or we are just feeding him lots of treats because we are feeling guilty that we cannot take him out, or we cannot take him for a longer walk, or we're not able to take him for a weekend outing. So the treats cannot be a replacement for all this time out, and it's, of course, it's not healthy for your dog as well. So I would suggest, I insist that you use the daily food. Even if you're feeding dry food or wet food or home cooked food, there are different ways which you can use the food. Portion it down, and create different activities for them. Also, I must say that, as I mentioned, the five things: the meals, the walks, the playtime, the alone time, and the grooming. You need to make a schedule for your dog. Right now, our schedules are disturbed, but we need to have a schedule for the dog. That's the only thing which you're going to help you and your dog stay positive and carry on with your daily routine, and not get depressed or not get disturbed by this staying at home 24 hours. So, as I said, meals is the first part. Let's go to the walk part. Right now, as pet owners, we are all struggling with the dog's walk. We are not allowed to go out for a longer walk we should ideally take them out just to susu and potty, and we should quickly bring them back. If your society or if your building allows for you to walk your dog inside the compound, please do so. Do not go out on the road. But of course, you have to clean up after your pet inside the building or outside on the road. A lot of recent posts we have seen that there's been problems with the police of you walking your dogs outside or the so what I would definitely suggest is please be polite to the police. Please keep the walk short, only for the susu potty break. Even if you feel that your dog needs a daily walk of whatever minutes, that's not the available option right now. So just to try and avoid any fights with the police, keep it to the shorter, smaller lanes near your building. Just 10 minutes susupati and back in the building. Ideally you should give them just 2 walks in a day, but if there are any medical conditions for your dog, you adjust the schedule accordingly, but try and keep the walk short. There are different things which you can do inside the house to compensate for that. All right. So I would suggest the next thing we go to is the playtime. Playtime is very, very important. As I said, and I always stress in my post, that mental stimulation is very, very important for your dog, and especially in the lockdown session, in the lockdown period. So what you can do is, dogs have five senses like smell, sight, hearing, touch, and taste. So you should, as my mentor said, you should create games to for each of these senses for the dogs. You should play games with the treats, play games with their toys, try and make some homemade toys. As I mentioned earlier, we will be doing a separate video on the games to play with your dog, and we will be showing you some homemade toys as well. Um, you can play hide and seek, it's an excellent game. Search game using your daily food is an excellent game. Depending on your pet's preferences or likings, try and innovate from stuff which you already have at home. um, that will help. And instead of having just one session with your pet, I would suggest have about 10 to 15 minutes of sessions, short sessions throughout the day, maybe 3 to 4 times in a day. Or if your work permits, you can do it even more. If you have kids in the house, get them involved in the playtime too. Of course, you have to supervise the dogs and kids at all the time, and you have to train the dog well to behave in a certain way with the kid. I would suggest that because the kids, since we have a young kid in the house, I can see that the kids are also getting frustrated because they don't have their friends, or they don't have school, or they don't have anything to do. So, to give you an example, for my daughter, Ollie has become her all-time toy right now during the lockdown. So what we do is, instead of telling my daughter and dog to not to do this, don't do that, don't do that, we try and give them these 15 minutes of play sessions together, where both of them are interacting with each other directly or indirectly, using the toys, using the treats, using the daily food which we have in the house, and get them both to do some exercise, to play some simple games. It doesn't have to be difficult games. Of course, what I've started training with Ollie myself is I'm teaching her a lot of tricks, a lot of fun tricks which are not difficult to train at all. There are tons of YouTube videos, or you can check our website. We have lots of videos of trick training for your dogs. So you can use them and train simple tricks for your dogs. That will be fun for your dog and you as well. The next one is the alone time. A lot of us are not understanding that dogs need alone time every day, even during this lockdown. Even if everyone is at home and we're not really stepping out anywhere, dogs do need their alone time. I've seen a lot of social media posts where the pet parents are saying that, oh, my dog chills with me 24 hours, he comes with me to the bathroom, he's following me every day, everywhere. I would suggest, please do not encourage that behavior, because what you're only teaching your dog is you're creating different behavioral issues. Because when the lockdown gets over and all of us go back to our life and our routine and our work, the dogs are still going to be at home, and then they're going to feel miserable without you. So I would suggest spend quality time with them. Quality time, me I by quality time I means is not watching Netflix and your dog is chilling with you on the couch eating some snacks. That's not quality time. What I mean by give them some time on their own, but even that alone time you make it interesting by you can use crates. If you know, I am going to show you my crate which I have here, which I use it for Ollie. Can you see that? That's the crate Ollie has, and I have trained her to actually sleep in it. So she sleeps in the crate throughout the night, and during the day also she stays in it for some time, for half an hour, 15 minutes, sometimes 1 hour, depending on what I am doing and how what I'm doing with my kid, or depending on what if I'm cooking or if I don't have time to play with her. She spends some time in the crate, and she loves it. And what I do is I have these. Big chewing bowls, which I give it to her in the crate. Or I use Kongs again. As I said, I love Kongs and I use it all the time for my dog. And for a lot of people, crate training, they think it's why do you need to put the dog in the crate? It's so cruel, it's so bad. Actually, I don't feel that it is. Ollie, in fact, loves her crate. You can see her chilling on the bed right now. But Ollie, in fact, loves her crate. And she sometimes when she's allowed on the bed, she goes to her crate if the crate door is open, and she'll just go and lie down inside. As I also said, like since we have a young daughter in the house who's constantly behind my dog to play with her, sometimes I use a crate as a time for Ollie to just give her some of her own space. She can calm down, she can regroup, and then she can come out and play with my daughter again and all of us again. Also teaches my daughter some manners that she needs to leave Ollie alone for some time. I must say that if you happen to have a crate at home, or if you happen to have a playpen, which is like a metal sheet which you can put it up to the door or block the door entry, you can separate your dog from where you are in the house. If you can keep them inside other room for some time, you can feed them there while they're alone. If you do not have the crate or the playpen, you can actually get them used to being tied up on a leash for some time. You can literally start for 10 minutes, from 10 minutes 15 minutes every day or twice a day, to more increase the time slowly. So especially when you're working, or you're with your kid taking their studies sometime, give your dogs at least some time alone throughout the day. It's a must. It's must for their um, mind. It's for, they need to calm down, they need to relax, and they need to enjoy that alone time also, which will eventually help you when you go back to work and your life gets back on routine and they have to spend a lot of time alone at home. At any point, we do not advise tying up your dog and just leaving him tied up for 4 5 hours. That's not how we do it. That's not I mean by alone time. If you do not have an access to a separate room to keep them, you can keep them in the same room starting, but keep some distance from you. They can probably see you or hear you, but they cannot follow you constantly throughout the house. Um, if you have any questions regarding the crate training, we would love to answer them after this session, or we can in fact do a separate session for the crate training as well. The last part is grooming. Again, very important. Though our dogs are not going out right now or not getting very dirty, a regular grooming is a must for all the pet dogs. So you can, depending on your dog's breed and age and uh, physical condition, you can select the grooming activities. You can do some simple brushing, checking their nails, checking their ears, or just combing them in a day, like for 5 10 minutes max in a day. That will help. That kinds of, it's a great bonding activity for your dog. If you have a dog who doesn't like to be touched, or who doesn't like to be groomed, who's not usually very fond of going to the groomer or getting groomed at home, you have all the time right now to work on that. So talk to your trainers, talk to your behaviorist about how you can make grooming fun for your dog. Please be very careful. If you have a reactive dog, don't start just brushing him or checking his nails instantly. You have to read about it, you have to talk to your trainers and behaviorists, and do it step by step. Whatever new things you're starting, you have to do it step by step. So as I said, for all of us, to get through this lockdown time, we need a routine. And if you give a particular routine for your dog, I'm sure they'll love it, and they love and enjoy this lockdown period even more. So as I said, and a lot of times I've seen, I've got a couple of queries during this lockdown that, oh my god, my dog is not eating because I'm not getting a particular brand of food, or a particular time I'm not getting a particular meat or something. A lot of times during this lockdown, I've seen the owners are stressing too much. They're just getting worked up too much for smaller things. So and that is making the dog react even more. The dogs are getting edgy. The dogs are feeling restless. They're not eating. It's absolutely fine if you have a healthy dog, healthy adult dog, and if he doesn't eat a meal, or if he skips the meal for the entire day, it's absolutely fine. Unless there is a medical reason, I would suggest that please don't stress out too much for smaller things, smaller changes in your pet's routine. Of course, you keep a watch on them at all the time. Of course, you can always talk to the your doctor on phone if you have any confusion. As I always say that, instead of looking for some online forums, looking for answers on some online forums, it's the best idea to talk to professionals. There are lots of professional trainers, behaviorists. Talk to your vet. If you have any questions, you can write to us. We would be happy to help you. We've done few video sessions, video consults with our clients, where if they had any question, we answered them. We told them what they can do depending on the situation in their house, things which they can use, and it really helped them. So if you're feeling confused or lost, you're not understanding. Also, we recently had a couple of pet parents who wanted to rant about something. They were getting frustrated with something else, and they were taking the frustration was all coming out because the dogs were not allowed to walk, or some silly incidences like that. But they just wanted to take out their frustration and talk to somebody. So we'll be happy to talk to you if you have a genuine question, or if you just want to take your stress out and just want to talk to somebody, a dog lover or a pet parent. We would be happy to help you. So I think we have come to the end of the live session. I think I've covered most of the times. As I said, if you have any specific questions, or if your dog is showing any different behavior which you're not understanding or getting confused about, we would be happy to help you. One of my sorry, we have a question here. Let me just read that quickly. So we have a question from a pet parent who's saying that their dog has started chewing excessively. The dog was completely a happy-go-lucky dog before, but he's acting very stubborn. He's chewing up a lot, and he's biting everything in the house. He doesn't know what to do with himself. So what you need to understand is, the dogs are basically getting bored right now because they don't have much to do, and they don't know what to do with their time, what to do with their energy. Most of the times, us as pet owners, we are stressed ourselves due to our jobs or housework or whatever else, and we are not spending enough constructive time with the dog. So think about the 5 things which I mentioned about his playtime: more enrichment for the dog, more mental stimulation games for the dogs. You can give them a lot of chewing bones, um, quality chewing bones, or you can make some homemade toys. So this excessive chewing which you are seeing in the last few weeks, it has increased. It's due to boredom, and so you need to work step by step. Some days are going to be bad, some days are going to be good. Right now you cannot really help it. Not a lot of things are in your control right now, but do the best which you can with your time, um, and I'm sure you'll see the results. The next question is coming about a kid and a dog. Yes, so the dog is kind of getting edgy and reactive with my kids. um, the kids are the mom is saying itself that yes, the kids are troubling the dog. They're trying to play with the dog all the time. So yes, you have an answer in your question itself, that the dog is not getting any alone time because the kids are at home 24 hours. And um, when we have kids and dogs at home, it's like a double work. As a parent, you just cannot rest, you just cannot do whatever you want at whatever time. So what I would suggest is work on the alone time. If you have a crate, use it. If you do not have a crate, try and give the dog alone time away from the kids. You can give the kids some creative activity like drawing or painting or some other activity, and meanwhile the dog can give his take his alone time as well. Even if you cannot separate them in other rooms, the dog can you can teach the dog to go on his own bed and lie down without disturbing others, and you can teach your kid not to disturb the dog while he's lying down or sleeping on his bed. Start with like short sessions, 10-15 minute sessions, and go on from there. I'm sure it will calm your kids and the dog down. Again, the next thing you can do is constructive playtime. A lot of times when families have younger children in their house, the kids are running everywhere in the house, the dog is running after them. People, lot of people really don't understand that this chasing games are not good. Instead, you can use their daily meal, their treats, or whatever you have, your Kong toys. You can play search games, lots and lots and lots of search games. We Since we have a young daughter at home, who constantly wants to play with Ollie. We've been doing a lot of these games, and I'm going to record these videos, and I'm going to be putting up on our website, Crazy Canine Campus website, and our Instagram page and Facebook page. You are more than welcome to have a look at them and do the things according to your dog's and kids' taste and preferences. So I guess that answers your question. If you have any other questions, please do let us know. Yes, hello. I guess we've had a good session. And just to sum it up, I can say is all of us are in different boats but in the same storm. And as one of my friends rightly said, it's all a mind game. So I hope you stay calm, stay positive, do whatever it takes to keep yourself positive and keep your dogs relaxed. Go out and go and play with your dog. It's the best thing you can do for your dog right now. So just keep calm, play with your dog, and carry on. And we'll all get through this. Thank you. Bye.
I didn't take questions from the comments.
Where are